Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, and at 9 a.m., and we are here this morning for our Administrative Matters meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Kristen Stevens, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. With me are my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally and Commissioner John Kafalis. To my right from the clerk's office, we have Lindsay Tracy. We have Lorinda Volker, our county manager, with us as well, Tom Clayton from Public Affairs, and Sarah Martin from the Commissioner's office. We begin these meetings with public comment. Looks like we had a couple people signed up, although Renee, I believe you're with the awards presentation, so you'll be speaking later. So I will call up Patrick Redmond. Good morning, Patrick. And I think you've been here before. You have 3 minutes to speak, and you're welcome to take all 3 minutes and introduce yourself, please.
Yes, my name is Patrick Redmond. I am a volunteer for the Greg Lopez for Governor campaign 2026, and I'm here to listen.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, thank you, Patrick. Patrick has always been, for the 2 meetings he's been here, he's been nice and succinct. So we will move. Is there anyone else who wanted to give public comment in the audience that didn't sign up? And Sarah, was there anyone who called in or wanted to call in?
No, Commissioner.
Okay. Well, then we will close public comment, and thank you again, Patrick, for being here. And we will move to our next agenda item, which is approval of the minutes. And Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I'll ask you to make that motion.
Certainly, Madam Chair. I move to approve the minutes for the week of November 24th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. We'll move on to our upcoming schedule review, and that's Sarah.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for December 15th through the 19th, 2025. On Monday, December 15th from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual State Forest Health Council Leveraging Resources meeting. From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., the Commissioners may attend the elected officials' lunch at the Rio Grande Mexican restaurant at 143 West Mountain Avenue in Fort Collins. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Tuesday, December 16th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Community Corrections Advisory Board luncheon at Maida Trattoria at 100 North College Avenue in Fort Collins. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioners Stevens and Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Colorado Workforce Development Council's Talent Pipeline Report meeting. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., the Commissioners will attend the Ranger Brendan Unit Award Ceremony in the hearing room on the first floor. On Wednesday, December 17th, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioners may attend the Department of Natural Resources Holiday Open House event at 1800 South County Road 31 in Loveland. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a liquor license hearing for Farm Fusion LLC in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be a work session for an update on behavioral health services multi-year funding strategy in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Big Thompson Watershed Health Partnership meeting in the Lily Lake Conference Room on the fifth floor. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Big Thompson Watershed Health Partnership Holiday Gathering at Prost Brewing at 1510 South College Avenue in Fort Collins. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioners Kafalis and Shattuck McNally may attend the Community Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the Carter Lake Conference Room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Thursday, December 18th, from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Housing Catalyst Board of Commissioners meeting. It's a hybrid meeting in person. It will be at 1715 West Mountain Avenue in Fort Collins or virtually via boardable video. From 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m., there is the 2026 Larimer County Legislative Roundtable meeting at 200 Peridot Avenue in Loveland. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Visit Estes Park Board of Directors meeting. From 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual North Front Range Metropolitan Finance Committee meeting. From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Open Lands and Parks Advisory Boards meeting at 2260 West Trilby Road in Fort Collins. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Board of Health meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1525 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. And on Friday, December 19th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual State Forest Health Council Legislative Committee meeting.
Thank you, Sarah. Any corrections or additions, Commissioner Shattuck McNally?
Sarah, I just wanted to talk about Saturday. Or maybe I have it off on the wrong one. The 19th. No, I think that's all. I was off a week. I apologize. Thanks, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Commissioner Kafalis, any changes? Go ahead.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Two things I wanted to add to the calendar. One is on Tuesday, December 16th, I'm planning to attend as much as I can of the memorial service for Wayne Gutowski, who passed away last week. So that's at First United Methodist. That's at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to have to seek some grace from my colleagues about some of our meetings that day. And and I think it's the 21st, which is Sunday. Is that right? There's the menorah lighting in Old Town. Menorah lighting at 5 o'clock in Old Town.
I think that's
Yeah.
right. So I don't think we got, I don't think we necessarily got invitations to any menorah lighting.
The only reason I saw it in the paper, so I added it to my calendar.
Okay.
So maybe we should add all three of us because we'll probably go.
Yeah, so, and we'll keep you posted on the invitations, because I think that for Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I think there's also one in Loveland maybe,
Yeah.
and so, okay, we'll keep you posted on those.
Yeah, Sunday, December 21 at 5.
Okay, thank you, John. Okay. All right, well, thank you, Sarah, thank you very much. We will move on to our consent agenda, and I will read through the consent agenda. We had 2 abatements, however, we're pulling the second abatement for refund of taxes, and we'll make note of that, Commissioner Kafalis, as we make the motion. We have 5 agreements. The first is an intergovernmental agreement concerning the Chimney Hollow Open Space Public Access Assets Project. The City of Loveland holds a conservation easement on Chimney Hollow Open Space. This IGA between Larimer County and Loveland establishes a cost-sharing agreement and authorizes the use of these funds to support a portion of expenses associated with developing public access assets and amenities on this open space. And this will run through December 31st of 2028. The total dollar amount is $200,000. Then there's a Bureau of Reclamation Grant Agreement, Amendment Number 3, for activities at Horsetooth and Pinewood Reservoirs, broadband cable and asphalt replacing. Larimer County has been awarded a grant from the Bureau of Reclamation for $456,350 to complete 7 separate projects at Horsetooth and Pinewood Reservoirs. The purpose of this third amendment is to correct the Larimer County's Department of Natural Resources required match by $10,154. So that match is now reduced to $496,117, as stated on page 5 of this agreement. And that term will run through May 1st of 2026. The total dollar amount is almost is $962,000 approximately. The third item is a Bureau of Reclamation Grant Agreement Amendment Number 4 for aquatic invasive species prevention activities at Horsetooth and Carter Lake. Larimer County received a $260,000 grant from the Bureau of Reclamation for these for this aquatic nuisance species prevention at Horsetooth and Carter Lake. And due to unforeseen delays with the project, we requested an extension from the Bureau of Reclamation. This is the fourth amendment to this agreement. The new term will run through 12/31/2025, and the total dollar amount is approximately $309,000. Then we have a second amendment to the intergovernmental agreement for funding of bridge and roadway construction as part of the replacement bridge number LR13E 324 and 24E over Dry Creek project. This is an IGA with the city of Loveland for replacement of bridge. The amended IGA will finalize design cost shares with the city, and that will run through May 26th of 2026. The total dollar amount is not to exceed approximately $3.9 million. And then there's an intergovernmental agreement between Larimer County and the town of Wellington. This is regarding land use matters in the growth management area overlay zone district surrounding the town of Wellington. The town of Wellington had signed the agreement. The Board of County Commissioners and the Planning Commission held a joint work session on this topic on September 10th. So that will be codifying that agreement. We have 4 appointments. We have a recommended reappointment to the Smithfield Public Improvement District for Stephen Anderson with a term ending on November 30th, 2029. We have a recommended appointment to the Behavioral Health Policy Council for Patricia Canonico with a term ending November 30th, 2028. A recommended midterm appointment to the Behavioral Health Technical Advisory Committee for Rachel Olson Towlin, and that term will end November 30th, 2026. And finally, a recommended appointment, 2 recommended appointments to the Behavioral Health Technical Advisory Committee for Nicole Armstrong and Kirsten Shubin, and those terms will end November 30th, 2028. We have 1 deed. It's a deed of dedication for right-of-way purposes, and that is for improvements to County Road 70. 3 liquor licenses. The first liquor license is a renewal for the American Legion Post Home Association George Beach Post number 4, and that is a club license. We have a liquor license renewal for the Rock Inn in Estes Park, and that's a brew pub license, and a liquor license renewal for the Red Feather Lakes Hospitality LLC doing business as Beaver Meadows Resort, and that is a hotel and restaurant with optional premise license. Then there are 5 miscellaneous items. There is the 2026 solid waste fee schedule. The public meeting for this was held on November 10th, 2025 to discuss the upcoming fee schedule, and it was approved to move to administrative matters. We have 1 warranty memorandum for Rivers subdivision filing 1 number 22 land 4255. This is a 2-year warranty period for all improvements to be constructed pursuant to the development agreement, and that commenced on December 1st and expires on December 1st, 2027. And then finally, the last 3 miscellaneous items are stipulations as to tax year value 2025, and you can get more information on those on our website. We're almost done. And finally, 2 resolutions, findings and resolutions approving the City of Fort Collins appeal. This is an appeal for the City of Fort Collins to use a temporary construction area, and that was the hearing for the item was held on November 17, 2025. And then finally, a findings and resolution approving the Bear Tribe LLC amended special review. And this is to remove previously approved age restrictions and to increase capacity from 24 to 45 individuals. This is for a sober living and treatment facility. And the public hearing for this item was held on November 17th, 2025. So with that, I will ask Commissioner Kafalis. Oh, would other commissioner want to remove anything? No. Okay. Then I will ask Commissioner Kafalis to make that motion, and just reminding you, Commissioner, that we will be pulling that second abatement from this, and if you could mention that in the motion. The second petition for abatement on the first page.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the consent agenda for December 9th, 2025, minus the item number 2 under abatements.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on any of these items? All right, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. So we will now move on to our discussion items. And our first discussion, well, I think all our discussion items are good news items. Our first discussion item is the 2025 APWA Colorado Chapter Award winner. This was submitted by Ken Cooper and Jennifer Johnson from Facilities. Welcome, Ken. Tell us about the award.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. Ken Cooper, Facilities Director. Jen Johnson, our Real Estate and Planning Manager, who was the project manager on this project, is with us. And Renee Railsback with the APWA will be up here shortly to share a few words as well. Yeah, we're very excited. The project opened about a year ago, and about $33.4 million capital project, had been in planning for many, many years, had been a priority, through the facilities master plan that completed in 2018. And D2C was selected as the architect in a competitive process, and FCI was the general contractor, also selected through a competitive process, and really built a terrific team. You'll see a video here shortly, short video, where Jen talks a little bit about that. But the project was submitted to the APWA, and we were awarded as for large community in the structure category. Renee is going to talk a little bit about what those criteria look like in the selection process, but just very grateful for the opportunity to work as a team and to deliver this thing for Larimer County. And you all are well aware of where the fleet and road and bridge folks moved out of from Vine Drive in North Fort Collins, and it's been a really terrific change for them in every way. Really a positive change for the processes that they go through, all the staging that has to happen. They're on a 30-acre site, most of which was developed for this project, and we're very pleased with it.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Ken before we move to Renee? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Ken, and thank you, Jennifer, and thank Renee for all being here today. Really excited. This is really a stellar project. We had been out there for the ribbon cutting, and can you talk a little bit about how this new building, or maybe can you share how we brought kind of road and bridge offices and the fleet together, and kind of that cost savings, or is there cost savings, and how important that maybe be? And so I just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, the original plan, we were on a budget, and it wasn't going to afford us to allow for the road and bridge office staff to move down to the new building. Working with that group and being able to make it happen financially, with some of the dollars that were dedicated to it. That last component was rolled into it, and we were able to move them out and then vacate the leased space that they had on Midpoint. So, and that really has been a terrific thing. They hadn't been coordinated and co-located with their staff like that, and so there's a lot of positives for having their leadership as well as all their line staff in one building now. It's a big deal for them. So. And certainly the coordination that happens between road and bridge and fleet is also more enhanced by having them there as well. So,
thank you, Ken. I appreciate it, and thank you for your leadership. We're so fortunate. You're just outstanding, and you're forward thinking in how you organize, and what you and Jennifer do to kind of really keep these facilities looking brand new, in my opinion, all the time. And it's a beautiful facility and a great view. I'm jealous of their view. It's a great view. I'd love to maybe go out there sometime and eat my lunch on the balcony, but I just wanted to commend you all for a job well done. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Cavallis.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Ken, I don't have any questions at the moment, and I will offer some comments, but I'd like to hear from all the other folks.
Yeah, very good.
Great. So was
Yeah.
Renee going to speak
Renee
then? Or?
Railsback with APWA will share a few words with us.
Sure. And maybe Renee, you can tell us a little bit about APWA for those of us who don't know.
All right. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Renee Railsback, and I am the Colorado Alternate Chapter Delegate on the American Public Works Association's National Council of Chapters. The APWA Colorado chapter holds an annual awards program to honor outstanding contributions to the public works profession. There are awards programs held all over the country, and we highly encourage Larimer County to submit their project to the National Awards Program next year as well. Project nominations are broken out first by agency population, small, medium, and large communities, and then they are submitted in one of the following categories: administration, emergency construction, environment, operations and maintenance, parks and trails, public outreach, structures, sustainability, or transportation. Committee members review and judge the projects on the following criteria: innovation, achievement, transferability, cooperation, and partnerships. I'll ask Sarah to play the video for you.
The Fleet Campus. It's a brand new facility opened in November of 2024. Within this, we house both fleet services and road and bridge. We had an amazing group of folks that worked on this building, from all the stakeholders, including our commissioners. This was a project that was in the works for at least over 10 years. It was such an amazing group, one of the best projects I've worked on, and all of it wouldn't have happened without all their collaboration and the product that you see today.
A really big project that we would be tackling at this point that we expect is still the Justice Center expansion. That eventually is going to have to be expanded to support the...
Thank you. Larimer County's nomination for their new Fleet Campus stood out to judges for its recognition of the need for investment in public service infrastructure, improving safety and operational efficiency, staff collaboration and their involvement in the design process, sustainability solutions, aesthetic appeal, and much more. I'm very proud to be here today to congratulate Larimer County on behalf of the Colorado chapter of the American Public Works Association, as well as the National Council of APWA, and present to you the winning award for the Best Large Community Structure Project for 2025.
Great.
Congratulations.
Thank you again for the time. Thank you again for the time this morning, Commissioners. There was a bit of a glitch in the getting the award, so we have a previous award that we were nominated and awarded for behavioral health building, which was also an APWA award winner. We'll have this plaque from the Fleet Campus here shortly, but anyway, that's the piece. I think Jen wanted to share a couple words here.
I'd love to. Thank you again, Commissioners. I'd be remiss, as mentioned in the video, that there was so much collaboration between not only our own staff with facilities, building department, our commissioners, of course, but we had a ton of collaboration with the city of Loveland and their planning staff, since we fall into their jurisdiction for that portion, with the water department, sanitation department. You know, they're endless, right? So D2C and FCI as well on the project. So as mentioned again in the video, it was such a great project to work on. And just a lot of fun. So wish we could, have every day, the experiences that we went through for years there. To to add on to what Renee mentioned as far as sustainability at the project, we have a total of 8 chargers for for electric cars there. There's 4 in the back of the yard and 4 in the front for public use. We're also solar ready for that building should we ever decide to add that. So just a couple of highlights that I wanted to add to how that some of the things we put into the information for the award, and obviously what was reviewed and considered for receiving such an honor. So thanks again.
Thank
And I
you.
think I will
Jennifer.
add one thing that's impressive is the project came $350,000 under budget.
Yes.
That is music to our ears as well. Well, thank you. Commissioner, I think you wanted to make some comments and then ahead.
Well, first of all, a lot of gratitude. Thank you for teamwork. Thank you, Ken Cooper, Jen Johnson, Renee. I think I appreciate the handout that we got that provides a lot of detail about the process and the criteria and all of that. And I think once again, this project exemplifies, what we strive to be about in Larimer County. Values, principles such as working together, collaboration, cooperation. Being really smart and innovative. Yes, we like to get projects done on time and under budget. That's way up there on the list. But also, I think one of the criteria had to do with transferability, and as I understand that, it seems like this serves as a model for other jurisdictions, other communities who may need to do this type of public works. Capital project, and so I think that's really important. We serve as an example to other communities. Jen, you mentioned about the other jurisdictions, fire districts, and all the rest that came together, and I think it's really great that we were able to co-locate. Makes a lot of sense to co-locate our road and bridge folks and with our fleet services folks. And thanks for mentioning about the EV chargers and. Looking forward to when our budget will allow us to put some PV panels on top of the roofs. Perhaps we could use the $350,000 in savings. But job well done. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming up from Denver. Well done. Thanks. That's all I have to say,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. I'll let the county manager speak if she wants to on this.
I would love to.
Okay.
This is one of those, you win an award, but it's not necessarily the biggest, fanciest, most expensive building. It's just very functional, and it's the process that got us here. And so as a county, we're pretty frugal with how we build facilities and what we do and the way that we manage the budgets around that. And to still come in under budget is very remarkable. For the staff, if you've ever visited the Vine Street shop, you understand where they came from and what this looks like. And this is a tremendous improvement both in staff area, the ability to be efficient in their work, and most importantly, staff safety, because what they do is really important, and we rely on them to keep us moving around the county, literally. So I think thank you for involving them so much in the process. That's one of the reasons I think it was so successful. The way that they work was really engineered into this. Well, when they say 10 years in the making, they're not kidding. This is something we've been talking about for a very, very long time, and it has come to completion and won an award. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you for coming to give us the award.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorinda. Yeah, I'll just mention that having seen the old building was not functional and not a great space for people to work. So while this is beautiful, aesthetically beautiful, and thank you for mentioning that, I think that it's also just really functional as well, right? And it provides a safe environment with enough space to take care of really big equipment inside the building and not have to do that outside the building. That piece is really important, right? I mean, it's very important for the people who work for us to have a comfortable and safe and adequate facility to work in, right? And so with airflow and the size of the building and those kind of things that's really important. It's not just an office building, right? People do very hard technical work there, and so for me, seeing that people were able to move into that space after having worked in a space that just doesn't function anymore, was too old, was not adequate. It's night and day, and I'm really glad that we can do that for our staff. They're again co-locating those two departments is really important, and having something that's honestly close to the freeway is easily accessible. It's just a great design, and so I'm really glad to see that we won the award. And thank you, Renee, for coming out today and presenting this. We really appreciate it, and we'll look forward to getting the plaque. But for now, let's take a photo with that plaque and acknowledge everyone who did such a great job on this. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Well, we are back for our second discussion item, and that is approval of the purchase agreement for the Parish Ranch Conservation Partnership property as recommended by the Open Lands Advisory Board at its November 19th meeting. So welcome, we have Alex Swartz with us and Megan Flanagan, and Dalen Figgs, our Director of Natural Resources, is in the audience. So welcome all. And really excited to hear about another conservation easement. So welcome, and we're going to see, I think, some photos. And I misspoke. This isn't an easement. This is a purchase. So. Sorry, folks. We're just working through a couple technical difficulties. Trying to get you some photos of this beautiful place, right?
It'll be worth it.
It will be worth it, indeed. Okay. Do we think Sarah will be able to pull those up? Is that's what's happening? Okay. There we go.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Sarah, for your help. Megan Flanagan with the Natural Resources Department, and we brought this project to you in an executive session a couple months back. It's a project that's down in the south end of Larimer County on the Larimer-Boulder County line near a property we've owned since around 2001, Red Tail Ridge Open Space. And we, earlier this year in January, closed on an addition to Red Tail Ridge, about 196 acres, the Arrowhead property. And this is an area where we have spent quite a bit of time, if you don't mind advancing, over the last 20 plus years trying to create a larger whole and some connectivity down in this region. So just to orient you to this map, you can see the Larimer-Boulder County line. North of that line, the bright green, the westernmost bright green is the original purchase of Red Tail Ridge Open Space, 320 acres. The eastern parcel that's bright green is what we purchased in January, the Arrowhead addition to Red Tail Ridge Open Space. The orange are conservation easements that either are held by other entities or are part of the rural land use project that went through Larimer County. So the orange is residual land that's undeveloped. And then south of the Larimer-Boulder County line is the bright green is Rabbit Mountain Open Space, owned and managed by Boulder County. And the hashed area is a parcel just recently acquired by Boulder County, or soon to be acquired by Boulder County. So with that, I'll turn it over to Alex to kind of take you through some of the details of this particular acquisition.
Thank you, Megan. Good morning, Commissioners. Alex Swartz, Land Agent with the Natural Resources Department. As Megan mentioned, this is a property at the Larimer-Boulder County line off of County Road 2070 and County Road 4. This is a fee acquisition that would be held by Larimer County. We have a partnership with Boulder County in conjunction with acquiring this property. The acquisition price is $650,000. Larimer County would be contributing $250,000, and the other $400,000 coming from Boulder County. Access for this property is through our Arrowhead Redtail property down through some of those private land holdings into Boulder County, and then through some Boulder County open space property. That access through Boulder County is, a leading driver with this partnership with Boulder County and eliminating that access through their open space. This property currently has a conservation easement on it held by Colorado Open Lands. As part of this purchase agreement, Boulder County and Larimer County will work together to get Colorado Open Lands to transfer that conservation easement to Boulder County. Then the counties will work together to eliminate 2 building routes that are currently on that conservation easement to eliminate any development on the property and keep it as open space. This partnership with Boulder County is one we see benefiting citizens of both counties and opens the door to future collaboration between the counties in this area with our growing footprint in adjacent conserved lands. As I mentioned, this is in private ownership. There are 2 building rights that could be on that property that would be accessed through our Arrowhead Redtail addition and on Boulder County open space. Part of this acquisition is to eliminate those and maintain it as part of our Redtail Ridge open space. We click over for some pictures. You can go back to that first one. That first picture is looking from Rabbit Mountain open space in Boulder County. Back north yellow highlighted area is this 83-acre property that's owned by Parish Range Conservation Partnership currently. The ridge just above that is our Redtail Ridge open space. In the foreground is a couple private properties, and then the ridge you can kind of see over to the right side of the picture is a portion of our new Redtail addition that we bought in January of this year. This is a picture from our Arrowhead Redtail edition, looking back west. It's a long skinny strip right there, just east of the canal that runs adjacent to our Redtail Ridge open space. That ridge that you can see there is our Redtail Ridge open space. And again, this is from our Arrowhead Redtail edition, looking back west to the Redtail Ridge open space. That might be it. Yep. So again, we're seeking authorization of the purchase agreement for the Parish Range Conservation property between Larimer County and Boulder County as buyers, and the Parish Range Conservation Partnership as the seller. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, do you have any additional comments to make?
And just to add, we did take it to the Open Lands Advisory Board, who recommended approval at their November board meeting. And, while it's a small parcel at 83 acres, you can see from the photos and the maps, it's a really key parcel. Even though already conserved through a conservation easement, now that we own both sides of it, just having that continuity of ownership and future public access in this area will really bring the properties together. So,
Thank you.
Answer any questions.
Thank you, Alex and Megan. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes, a question, and perhaps you addressed it earlier. I might have missed it, but the trail easement. Did you speak to that, or if not, would you speak to that, please?
Yeah, thank you. On the first map, there was a dashed line through some of those orange conservation easement rural land use residual parcels. And so over the past 20 years, as we've looked to add lands to Redtail Ridge, we also looked at ways to connect Redtail Ridge down to Boulder County and Rabbit Mountain open space. And we did that primarily through trail easements through those conservation easement and development review processes. So we do have that dashed conservation easement that provides access to Rabbit Mountain open space long term. It's not developed yet.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for answering my question. And just it's nice to have a morning meeting where just good news. I hope this continues for the rest of this year, 2025. You folks do really extraordinary work figuring out all of these willing landowners that are willing, wanting to expand our conservation and our open space. With these additional 83 acres fee acquisition, I think we're getting pretty darn close to 65,000 acres. Every little acre helps. So once again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner, go ahead.
I have a couple of questions and comments, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And maybe you mentioned this, so forgive me for asking again. When we were there at NOCO Places, I was able to walk around that from where those pictures were, and I know the view sheds are just stunning if you look up that draw and that riparian area. I don't know if you talked about the biodiversity that's in that area, because it seems like that area has, I think they mentioned, so a couple of things they had mentioned, that area has so much biodiversity compared to some other parts of the state. And then also it's a very important indigenous sacred place too, or there's evidence. So I'm just wondering, can we speak to a little bit of that? Because I think it is kind of am I remembering that correctly? It's a biodiversity hotspot.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, your memory's correct. That as part of the NOCO Places collaborative, that Larimer County is one of 5 counties and federal partners on. We've done a lot of resource mapping across that 5-county region. And up at the north end of Larimer County and at the south Boulder-Larimer County line are some of the hottest spot areas for where we see a lot of different rare plant communities and Colorado Natural Heritage Program designated sites overlap. And in part, it's because of the Little Thompson River corridor through there, and that view shed to the west is outstanding. And so being able to buffer a lot of the cultural and ecological sites on Rabbit Mountain open space in particular and add to it across the Larimer County line is a benefit of this project.
Thank you. I think that's what resonated with me so much when we were talking about this open lands and at NOCO places, and then what we have today when we are discussing this is that it is such a important biodiversity and hotspot for where all these, ecological and species, but also the indigenous, heritage and that kind of importance is overlapping. And I also think that it's going to transcend having kind of a county to county kind of trail system or a connection. And I think that's what's really special about this is that, once we work through, natural disasters or through preserving lands, watersheds and lands, this really transcends boundaries and jurisdictions and really is really requiring a comprehensive multi-agency or a faceted approach to protecting some of these lands because, they don't recognize lines. We drew the lines. They were, these lands were there way long before we all started drawing lines on a map. And so I think this really is important. These areas being preserved, it's really to help achieve like this long-lasting conservation success and open trails. And I think this view shed is outstanding going up through that draw. We don't have a lot of protections up there, but maybe it's down the future. And so I think that's why, even though this is a smaller piece, as you said, this is a critical piece for bringing all these important elements together and along with continued spirit of collaboration between us and May agencies, especially to our partners and neighbors to the south. And so I want to commend you all. Another really important, well planned out parcel to acquire, and thank you for your due diligence. There's a lot of pieces here, and working with state and our, like I said, our neighbors to the south of Boulder County, and really. I think in the long run, this is another one of those legacy pieces going forward for people that can take their kids hiking or exploring that. It's going to be a really special collaboration and piece where hopefully, if I ever have grandkids, that they'll look back and say, "Hey, this was really cool that this is preserved." And I'll say, "Yeah, I remember the day we purchased piece." So I appreciate it, and again, thank you all for being here today. Just congratulations, well done.
Thank you. Lorinda, is there anything you wanted to say? Sorry.
I think this team comes in front of us to do the fun stuff, but they spend years developing these relationships, and I know you all understand that. I don't know that the public necessarily understands the relationships you form, the trust that you develop with landowners who want to conserve their property, either by selling it to us or by putting a conservation easement over it and making it accessible to the rest of us and to keep our area as beautiful as it is. And so thank you for your work. I know it is, we see these peaks, but there's a lot of work that goes on that we don't see, and it is very much appreciated.
Thank you, Lorinda. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for developing those partnerships that make these kind of projects happen. So this is definitely a nice holiday gift to the people of Larimer County. It is a beautiful space, as was witnessed by the photographs. And, kind of a missing link, kind of a weird little, a thin little strip that was important to, connect those two pieces. And just thank you for your hard work and dedication in doing this. We've been seeing you a lot this year, which we enjoy. It is exclusively with good news, and there's we're living in an environment where not all the news that we're receiving is good, and so it is wonderful to see some more land preserved in this way. So thank you very much for bringing this forward, and thank you also to the Open Lands Advisory Board for their work on kind of vetting these projects as well. So with that, I will ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally to make a motion on this.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am super excited to make the motion for this. I move to approve the purchase agreement for the Parish Ranch Conservation Partnership property.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Commissioner.
I don't want to neglect, but another shout out that's in order is the fellow that's sitting in the back, our Department of Natural Resources Executive Director Dalen Figgs, who of course is part of the team and provides some wonderful guidance to the open space folks and all the other things that we do around recreation. So a bit of a shout out to Dalen. We have an open space master plan. So, there's a plan here that we continually update and adhere to as best as we can. Priority areas and all the rest. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, thank you, Dalen, for your leadership. We do appreciate that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 That motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay, Alex.
So our next item is also a good news item, is adoption of a resolution establishing an expedited review process for qualified affordable housing developments. And we welcome Matt Lafferty from the Community Development Department, Principal Planner. Matt, tell us some more good news.
It worked. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Matt Lafferty, Principal Planner with the Community Development Department. I'm here today just to discuss and have you adopt a resolution solidifying an expedited review process for affordable housing projects that come before Larimer County. Aaliyah Rodriguez is also here from our housing group, and she's helped a lot with this and Proposition 123, which we're going to talk about real briefly. She's been a major component of that in her offices. So just to go over what this is about, in November of 2022, Colorado voters passed Proposition 123. That was a proposition that generated $300 million that were to be distributed across the state of Colorado to communities that are participating in the proposition to enhance affordable housing opportunities in those municipalities. What that proposition requires for communities that participate in it is that they increase their affordable housing across their community by 9% or 3% a year for 3 years, starting in 2023 and ending in 2026. It also required that communities that participate in that implement an expedited review process to speed up the process by which these projects can get approved. Larimer County opted into the program in 2023, and so we were obligated to comply with those provisions, and we continue to work at that. Affordable housing, according to Proposition 123, as defined by that proposition, is any rental housing that is at or below 60% of the area median income and costs the household less than 30% of their monthly income. It's also housing that can be purchased with an annual income at or below 100% of the AMI in the community and less than 30% of a person's income. So what is an affordable housing project? An affordable housing project, according to Proposition 123, is any project that comes forward that includes housing. 50% of the development includes housing of affordable nature, meeting that criteria. So 50% of the housing in there has to meet that. If it does, they can enter into an expedited review process with the county if we adopt this, and that process would then move them through the system of doing that. So what processes in Larimer County are subject to the expedited review process? First, we have a site plan review process and we have a building permit process. This expedited review does not apply to subdivisions, rezonings, or special reviews, as those applications tend to take a lot more effort and time in the review process, and they're not subject to Proposition 123. So our site plan review process and our building permit process will be subject to this expedited review system. The expedited review process will commence once a complete application has been submitted and verified. Once it's been verified, the expedited review process will take 90 days. That 90 days will run continuously throughout the process. There's no starts or stops within the process. It starts and it ends in 90 days. There are the ability to ask for extensions, and those have to be agreed upon between the applicant and the county in that process. To keep us on schedule with the 90-day process, staff and our referral agencies will be asked to complete our reviews within 21 days and respond in response to those applications. We'll also ask that the applicant respond back to us with a resubmittal within 21 days. If we can do that, we can maintain we believe we can maintain the 90-day referral process and expedited review process. As I said, extensions are possible. The applicant can request an extension. It's quite often that some of these projects can get very complex, and if they request an extension, it can be granted for up to 90 additional days to the process. And that just requires that they ask that we provide that process to them, and we'll allow that. The county or referral agencies can request that there be an extension. We have to provide that in writing to the applicant, and they're required to respond to us within 5 days. And assuming that they support that, we can add 30 days to the 90-day review process. And that's if we come up with any major issues in the process. What's on the screen before you now is just an outline of what that process looks like in its entirety. The staff is asking that you adopt this resolution. We've presented this to you in a couple of work sessions, and just recently, yesterday, you adopted the code amendment that will allow this to be solidified. So if we can get all this put together today, we will be complete with this application. The nice thing about this is we have until the end of 2026 to finish this process and come up with an expedited review process. But by completing it 1 year early, we will be receiving a $50,000 grant from the Department of Local Affairs to apply to additional affordable housing efforts in the county. So we get an additional $50,000 bonus for completing 1 year early. With that, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions for Matt? Commissioner Follis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Matt, Leah, everyone. A couple of questions, and maybe these are defined more so in the updated land use code that we approved yesterday. But the reference to AMI, area median income, are we talking about Larimer County AMI? Is that a yes?
That's correct, sir.
Because the Larimer County area median income, of course, is different, for example, than the Fort Collins area median income.
I'm going to ask Leah real quick.
We'll
if
ask
she could come
Aaliyah
up.
Rodriguez to come up.
Great.
But I believe that that's correct. But I'll let
Aaliyah.
Leah speak to that. She's more up to speed with those things.
Good morning, Aaliyah. We'll have you introduce yourself.
Yeah, good morning. My name's Aaliyah Rodriguez. I'm the Housing Stability Manager with Larimer County. And actually, we get one area median income identified for Larimer County.
Oh.
So the AMI for Larimer County and Fort Collins and Loveland are the same AMI.
Is that right?
It is, yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
A second question. Aaliyah, you may want to stay up here, unless you want to go
She's on
back
top
and
of the
forth
housing
and get
issue.
additional steps. And that is regarding the, I think 50%, a potential project, 50% of the units have to meet the definitions of affordability and so forth, whether it's rental or home ownership. Do those homes have to be deed restricted?
For our process or to count towards Proposition 123? Can you specify what
I mean,
you're
for
asking?
this process, for Prop 123,
Right.
in other words, to qualify for the expedited review process.
No, they don't need to be deed restricted to count towards our unit count for Proposition 123, and I don't believe they need to be deed restricted for our expedited review. They just need to be offered at a rent that is affordable to that area median income.
Yeah, just these things. And actually, for the sake of the many people that are listening and watching, could you define what we mean by deed restricted units?
Sure.
Sorry.
I can give it a go. Deed restriction is a legal document that's recorded at the assessor's office that requires that property to follow a specific rule. So in general, when you're talking about affordable housing, typically a deed restriction will say that you have to rent it at a specific rate, or you have to sell it to someone that's affordable to someone within a specific AMI range for an amount of time. So a deed restriction could be for 5 years, it could be for 30 years, it could be for 90 years, depending on the deed restriction.
Okay, then my final question is, what's our strategy for actually implementing this? Because in the county, it's for various reasons, it's challenging to have multifamily developments. Are we looking? I offer as an example, and I would welcome your thoughts. And I mean, one of the things that we have in our land use code is cottage or cluster development. So if we had something that had the infrastructure and there were 6 units to be built and 3 of them were defined as affordable, that would qualify as expedited review process?
As long as it's outside of the subdivision review process. So if it's a subdivision and you were going through that process, yes. But if, let's say, somebody came in under our code, a townhouse project, which is more than a duplex, a townhouse project does not go through subdivision review. It goes through a site plan review, and we look at things like parking and landscaping and the placement of buildings. That's an expedited review process. So if it's coming through a subdivision process, it just follows our normal standard review process.
Okay, great. That's helpful. Thank you. Those are all the questions I have. And just to say, once again, gratitude for the job well done, collaboration with our housing stability folks and our planning folks. I think that's excellent. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you. And also, I saw Leah, the news, TV news interview last night. Thank you for representing us as commissioners and the county so well. We appreciate your work. And Matt, I appreciate the work that you do to, and the whole team, and Rebecca and Leslie and everyone that's involved, and Cassidy's here. Just a really fantastic team looking to find ways for us to be innovative with our processes to match the needs and values, but also match our other values as a county as we're trying to protect and conserve our open space and agricultural lands. I think it's a great balance, and you know, I still think we have a lot of interesting work to do together going forward. So this is one step forward, and appreciate the state offering these opportunities to give grant money to help us have some funding to be able to continue this work and pursue these. So just congratulations and well done, and thank you for the great work that you do.
Thank you, Commissioner. Lorinda, is there anything you'd like to say?
I just want to say it's exciting what our team does. This law passed, and rather than wring our hands about a new requirement, you guys got to work and figured out how to make it happen. And I think we're probably one of the first organizations able to do this in adopting this. And so congratulations on that and the approach that we take as problem solvers, as opposed to just lamenting that something is being put on us. You all have really done the work, and here we are adopting the process now. So thank you.
Thank you, Lorinda. Matt, can you just explain, we had, in yesterday's land use hearing, we had some changes to the land use code too around, were we not, we weren't adopting the expedite, we were adopting changes to the land use code. Some of those were around housing as well.
That's correct. So the resolution that we're looking for you to adopt today will formulate the process and set the standards for the process. The code amendments that we adopted yesterday in our code make reference to this resolution, which then codify it and make it something that we can apply in the planning process.
Thank you. So it's a 2-part process for that.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
okay. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say kudos to you and the staff for getting this done so early. I mean, that did make us eligible for another $50,000. And we know that all these dollars are precious as we look to address the housing crisis that we have in Larimer County, and frankly, we have it across the state and across the nation. There's just not enough housing being built, and there's definitely not enough affordable housing being built. So I'm glad that we're taking this seriously as a county, that we're working hard, that we're qualifying for all the dollars we can. I mean, Commissioner Shattuck McNally referenced the ADU conversation, and maybe Aaliyah, you could just mention briefly about that the news segment that highlighted those additional dollars that we received.
Sure. Yes. So Larimer County was one of 7 jurisdictions awarded the Affordable Accessory Dwelling Unit Grant, the ADUG grant, and it is to launch new programs to utilize accessory dwelling units as a pathway to address affordable housing. And it's interesting because every jurisdiction is kind of going at it in different ways that works for their local jurisdiction, and that makes sense. So that's what the news cast was about how Larimer County is doing it. And so we were awarded $105,000 to launch a deed restriction ADU program to waive permit fees for the homeowner if they are willing to rent that ADU to someone in Larimer County that's affordable to someone below a certain AMI. Probably within the first quarter of next year, we're going to really be hashing out the details and the process of that, but that's what it is kind of at a high level.
Perfect. Well, thank you for explaining that. Yeah, I think just, for all of you to be, very much on top of this work and really leading in the state on this work is a testament to, because this is not the only thing that you're doing right now. I know that you're juggling a lot of balls, but to get these dollars, to bring these dollars into Larimer County, just set the example for the counties in the rest of the state to try to follow suit. Just really, really great work. I think you all understand the crisis and the affordability crisis that our residents are dealing with. We want people to be able to live people who work in our communities to also be able to live here. And for teachers and preschool teachers and people who work at the grocery stores, it's just not happening. And so this is really a movement towards trying to, make sure that we have some answers and some solutions for those folks. So wonderful work. Thank you. Any further questions or comments before we move on? Oh, go ahead, Commissioner.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Just a reminder that for those who may be interested, all of the documents and the details of a lot of the things we're talking about are online. They can go, and for example, in this matter, the 2-step process, as you pointed out, the 2-page resolution is available for folks to see the details if they're interested.
Thank you, Commissioner. That's helpful. So with that, I will ask Commissioner Kofalis to make this motion.
Yes, I move to approve the resolution establishing expedited review policies for future affordable housing projects.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as we said, lots of good news items this morning. I will turn things over to our county manager, Lorinda Volker, for her county manager update.
Thank you, Commissioner. Last week was the Colorado Counties Incorporated annual winter conference. As part of that, the managers meet. The Association of Colorado County Managers meets at that same time. And as you all know, I was appointed to the board of directors for that, representing the Front Range District. And so it was nice to interact with colleagues, as usual, to hear what they're dealing with. Anytime you go to a conference, it's nice to hear that we're not alone, that we're all kind of in the same boat, and it's a good reminder to reach out to our colleagues, learn from each other, and support each other. So thank you for allowing me to participate in that. I appreciate that very much. I also had the opportunity to meet with City of Fort Collins City Manager Kelly DiMartino last week. We have a lot of collaborative projects going on with Fort Collins, and so it was good to catch up and kind of get the details on those as well. And then a special thanks to the Sheriff's Office. They host a holiday luncheon, not just for their staff, not just for other county employees, but for their partners in the community. It was good to see folks from Wellington there. You know, the Sheriff's Office provides law enforcement services for Wellington and for Berthoud, and they had representatives coming as well, other agencies that were present. It was nice to see our natural resources folks being participated and celebrated as well. So thank you to the Sheriff's Office for hosting that. It's a long-standing event. event hosted many years ago by Ern Hudson, who was our undersheriff, and his wife, who I think would personally cater the event. We've come a long way since then, but it's still a nice chance to see people in a holiday environment and to say thank you and appreciate each other. So thank you to the sheriff for doing that. Thanks.
Thank you, Lorinda. Any questions or comments for Lorinda? No? All right. Well, thank you. We'll move on to Commissioner activity reports. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I'll have you get us started.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Lorinda. It was great to see you at the conference on that day. It was a busy week last week. First, on my way to the Colorado Counties Incorporated Winter Foundation Winter Conference, I went up to Estes Park to celebrate the launch day and opening day of the new partnership between Estes Park Health and Hospital and UC Health. I was asked to speak along with Kevin Unger, Mayor of Estes, Gary Hall, and the Estes Park Health board, and there will be a new board, and we celebrate with all the employees of the hospital and other community partners that were there, and was very exciting. They asked one of the oldest and longest term employees to unveil the new sign of the Estes Park UC Health. I have to just give her a shout out. I guess she just turned 80 and she's still serving coffee at the coffee shop, and you would never guess that was her age, and she's just spry and loves working there, and she was given the honor of revealing the sign and the new look, and I thought that was just really appropriate. So congratulations to all. It's very important to have that hospital and that partnership, and I appreciate the work that UC Health is doing to keep that critical access hospital thriving, and the community partners that all came together. We had the conference. I appreciate Commissioner Stevens' service on the WAC and all those other committees, and I joined you all because I wanted to listen in, and quite an educational and frustrating, intriguing, interesting, how do we go from here kind of conversation about allocations and funding. And if you look at our work session from yesterday on the human services changes and how HR is from the state, and also HR1, that was yesterday at 10 a.m. I would really encourage everyone to watch that on our website because I think that's important. We also, lots of conference sessions on housing, EMS, and supporting emergency service workers, behavioral health, and systems and processes in counties and regions. Also talking a lot about revenue and changes, and it was a really impactful conference. I appreciate Colorado Communities for Climate Action. I think that's what we call it. Yeah, gathered on site as we since there's a lot of us together, but it was extra special that we took a moment to, especially with some of Senator Faith Winter's, who tragically was killed the night before Thanksgiving. We had a small little service or memorial and recognized her work. I had just seen her either the year before or 2 years before at that same conference, at that same gathering, and that's one of my last pictures of her and I together. And it was heartbreaking, but also it was great to be with all that really understood her historic and work in the legislature in so many ways. And she was someone that I had done some leadership trainings and conferences and I appreciate that she was always supportive of women running in office, and I was a big fan of hers. She was a big fan of mine. I just appreciated that so much. On Tuesday, we had just a wonderful, again, conference, lots of going on, but we had the legacy dinner that night at the conference where a lot of awards are giving out and things, and I wanted to and Commissioner Stevens and I were there. We had the opportunity to sit on either side of our amazing Human Service Director, Heather O'Hare, who was nominated and won Human Service Director of the Year. When you think about all the 64 counties and the amazing human services directors who are so dedicated and work so hard and collaborate together, especially with some of these changes are happening, and SNAP benefits and how they advocated during the shutdown for SNAP, and just the extra work they've done. Heather has gone above and beyond to be in leadership at the state level and try to be at tables where we can advocate for really what's happening, boots on the ground, and making sure we remember who we are serving and why, and making sure that is still at the heart of all these decisions. Well-deserved recognition. Thank you to her staff for nominating her. We were, as commissioners, wrote a letter of support, and her family came, and we got to meet her family and her parents, and her speech was just so moving. I literally gasped during her speech. It just hit me so much in my heart. And so again, congratulations to Heather O'Hare, our Human Service Director, for a job well done and just well-deserved recognition. And thank you, Commissioner Stevens. It was great that we could sit together and honor her together. And I appreciate your service on the WAC committee as well. As we all we came back from that conference, I ran up in the snow, which worked out really well. But I went up to Estes Park. The Chamber of Estes Park had their first inaugural State of Estes Park, and asked for counties, to the county and the city and Platte River Power Authority, and visit Estes Park to all give a quick brief about the state of what's going on. And of course, I had a lot of slides. I cut it in half, but I still went over my 5 minutes. Which is a short amount of time trying to explain what's going on in Larimer County. But we got a lot of great feedback about what I shared, and so I shared some celebrations and challenges was my theme. And it was really a great breakfast. There's over 100 people there, a lot of small business owners, and the hospital. And it was great to see our partners at Platte River Power Authority and visit Estes Park. And as always, Mayor Gary Hall is just a hoot. Over the weekend before that, I wanted to share that Mayor and I and Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, and we were at the Stanley Chocolate Factory, which just opened, which we got to cut the ribbon. And the mayor and I went upstairs and got to make the first chocolate bar out of their new processes, which was kind of fun. But the reason I share this is just that it's a great economic driver and opportunity for a year-round jobs and economy, because this has a lot of history. It's got all the details that are very much aligned with the historic character of the Stanley, and the little details that are in there really resonate and show kind of that history of that building, and also the history of the Stanley family and the hotel. There's a Stanley steamer in the shop, and there'll be all kinds of things, but they're really great paying jobs, I think, because there's tour guides and a chocolatier. And so of course I bought lots of chocolate, and I ate chocolate for days, but it was great. And I just appreciate the opportunity to come up and celebrate a really, I think, will be a great attraction and thing for families to do year round. As we had the Regional Opiate Abatement Learning Forum, and also the State Attorney General's Opiate Abatement Data Work Group, which I won't go into too much detail, but we're really working on with some consultants on a very robust opiate data abatement, looking at the state and all the data come from all the regional opiate abatement councils. And so that work is progressing, and there's a lot of changing and refining and getting some really robust data and tracking, as we're still kind of leading the state and the region, or the state, and also the country, and some of how we've approached this work. So really excited about that. And then the Colorado Regional Emergency Technical Advisory Council, which is part of SEMTAC that I'm sitting on, had their regional meeting at the Embassy Suites at the ranch. So I was able to go and listen into some of that work and see how I learned some about this app that they use for during natural disasters or emergencies or wildfires. We got to see how the state has a new app that they can track. On the app, you can actually see the movement of the first responders as they're coming in, so they can track each other and know if someone goes, you kind of get a hold of someone, they can see where they're at. They can also, the infrared planes and all that stuff coming from the state. And this was from the State Department on how they're using that. So it was really informative, and I appreciate them inviting me. So that was great. We had the DDA gathering, which is wonderful. I had the standing Fire Commission Forest Health Council prescribe fire subcommittee. We're working on implementation. I'm working on a public toolbox for getting out the word on these recommendations. At the same time, we have the mountain pine beetle working group that I joined that was very informative. Next week, I'll remind everyone that we'll be having a work session on that. And then I went to, there was a reunion of a lot of folks that used to sit on the Larimer County Office on Aging group. Folks that, have been there for 20 years, and they all came for lunch. There was someone that was even in their 90s that came to the luncheon. And so I was there briefly, and that was great to see. We also had our Regional Opioid Abatement Council meeting where we're still voting on grants and approving 6-month allocations and setting up buckets. And we renewed our bylaws and have a conflict of interest policy now, a code of conduct policy, and also putting some term limits on our lived experience folks. And then we had, there's just a lot going on that day on Thursday. And then I attended the ASCSU Student Leadership Organization dinner at Laurie State Center, where we got to talk to students, and all of their electeds were there. And we had a great conversation on transportation and behavioral health. And the students were very inquisitive. It was great to have that. And then again, I appreciate Lorenda bringing up the Larimer County Sheriff's Office Hudson Annual Holiday Dinner. It's great to be welcomed in the holiday spirit, and I appreciate them also inviting our Department of Natural Resources and our Rangers and our Office of Emergency Management were there, and just a lot of folks that all work together, and I really appreciate the spirit, and thank you to Sheriff Fain, as always, for his wonderful way of bringing us all together like that. Commissioner Cavalis and I'm sure he'll bring this as well. We attended the Fort Collins Habitat for Humanity home dedication, and these are on the sites for the Pooter Build homes that we had given some of our American Rescue Plan dollars to buy the lots underneath, and as part of that Heartside Hill collaboration that we have been so involved with funding and supporting. And it was for one of the folks, her name is Megan, and she had reminded me that her and I actually volunteered together on a different build where we had been hammering nails and putting framing up, and so I appreciated her remembering that, and it was great to talk with her and celebrate her new home, and I really appreciate that. And back up to Estes Park that day. Estes Park was awarded from the state. The Estes Park Art District is now officially recognized as the state as a creative district. And this is something they have tried several times to accomplish, and we're not able to get done. And this time, with some new members and some new focus and some support from Visit Estes Park and the city and the town and others, they celebrated being designated that. And that was really a lot of fun to go up with the mayor and cut the ribbon and talk with that very diligent and hardworking board. And this is, as I told them, I've always thought of Estes Park as an art town and lots of artists up there. And so I just think that was wonderful, and I really appreciate that opportunity to celebrate with them. And then we had and I'll just end on this, Madam Chair, we had our Behavioral Health Policy Council meeting yesterday, where is our once a year where we bring the Technical Advisory Committee and the Consumer Advisory Committee meeting, and we have breakfast, and we bring over some of the new members and recognize the outgoing members, and we had two of those, Seth Forwood and Susan Gutowski, and so that was great to honor them, and we welcomed our new members, and was really great conversation about the grants and some of the things that we'll see in the work session this week. And I just wanted to commend the staff for a job well done. I love the new Lamplighter newsletter that you can see on the website, and I encourage others on the public to sign up for that. Lots of great information, and Madeline and Amy and Jessica and everyone on that team is doing a phenomenal job making sure people know the great, I think the very fiscally prudent and focused great work that we're using their taxpayers' money to fund the center and all these grants. So that's I think that's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Cavalis.
Thank you. I'll mention I think, three things that I participated in this week. Reverse chronological order. The first has already been referenced, but I was happy to attend there were two homes, Fort Collins Habitat home dedication at Hartside Hill. The first person, Megan, and she will be neighbors with Julie, who has the second home. And Julie actually is an old friend of mine, so it's really nice that she was able to get into that house. And just to the west there is, this is Hartside Hill is very unique. It's an example of, again, the principles and values of this county, but it includes 74 affordable housing rental units. Eventually, there will be 9 Habitat for Humanity homes for home ownership. 2 of the homes, adding up to 11, will be what are called L'Arche. L'Arche is an international organization that provides housing for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So there are 11 home ownership, 74 rentals, a community life center, and the property was donated by Heart of the Rockies Church. There were a lot of church folks there, a lot of community members. There was a great celebration. So I just wanted to share some of those details. The next thing that was also referenced, the sheriff's annual holiday party, the Hudson's holiday party. I'll just mention 2 things. That one is that I was really surprised, but I received a plaque from the sheriff's office. If you want to see it, it's up in the office. I didn't bring it down, but it's from the Fraternal Order of Police, thanking me for my years of service, doing my best to add to the quality of life in this place, but also supporting the law enforcement folks. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was very surprised when they asked me to come up. I had a mouthful of food and I wasn't prepared. And then the second thing I'll share, kind of these little things that matter a lot to me, is I got to sit down with the owner of the Human Bean Coffee Company here in Northern Colorado. They have 10 locations. They're about to open their 11th. The fellow's name is Frank, and I've never really had a chance to sit down with him. And we chatted for perhaps 15 minutes. And it turns out that his story is amazing. And the origins of the Human Bean Company drive-through coffee in Northern Colorado are very interesting. And I won't get into that, but you might want to look that up sometimes. The only other 2 things I guess I'll mention. One is that earlier I attended the State Board of Human Services meeting, and the most important takeaway was the director of the Colorado Department of Human Services provided an update regarding some of the very dramatic proposed changes to how we deliver human services, including a supplemental nutrition assistance program, including Medicaid, including what's the third one? TANF, temporary assistance to needy families. So that was important. And then the last but not least, 2 things. I'm sorry. We had a Wellington community conversation on Thursday, and we had folks from Northern Water come up. Greg Dewey, who is their senior project manager, and Jeff Stala, and they did a great job giving an update on the Northern Integrated Supply Project, Glade Reservoir, the realignment of Highway 287, which will begin, as I understand it, in the fall of next year, fall of 2026. I asked the question, how long will it take? It'll take about a year and a half, so it'll be done, if all goes well, in 2028. And then finally, I attended an interesting program sponsored by the Zonta Club on domestic violence, and it was a simulation role-playing activity in her shoes, and it was very enlightening. As someone who's not been directly impacted by that issue, which impacts a lot of folks, it brought home how difficult it must be to make the right decisions when, things are happening and it's scary and you don't know about whether to go back. You have your children. So that was also very interesting. I went longer than I wanted to, but I'm done.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll just mention a couple things. As Commissioner Shattuck McNally said, we were at the conference with other counties from across the state. Spent about 7 hours on Monday talking about the proposed changes to how we deliver those human services that Commissioner Kavalis mentioned. Suffice it to say that there may be some regionalization of services happening in the near future to account for some of the costs and to prevent risk to the state for some of the error rates and situations that are happening. So that is kind of to be decided about what happens in that space. But I actually spent those 7 hours on Monday and then another hour on Friday on dealing with that. So for me, most of last week was either human services or transportation. On Thursday, I had 5 transportation meetings, starting with National Association of Counties, Upper Front Range Transportation Planning Region, where we adopted our transit plan and human services plan. I had the wow, I'm looking at the acronym. I can't even remember it. The Non-Attainment Area Air Pollution Mitigation Enterprise Board met to discuss, our annual report, which we were able to get a lot of dollars out into different communities, including Larimer County, for projects that reduce the precursors to ground level ozone. We had the Go No Co 34. We have a coalition on 34 that's helping people with commuting, and so we met with that group. I was, after 7 years on the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization, I am now the chair, so it took a while to get there, but and we, in that meeting, really talked a lot about that group not only does transportation, but it does air quality issues. Talked a lot about are the goals from the EPA achievable because of our conditions in Colorado? Are the parts per billion, 70 parts per billion for the EPA's ozone levels attainable, and what does that look like to make sure that we attain those? So, a lot of discussion on that. And then, on Friday morning, I had the Regional Air Quality Commission meeting. We talked a lot about the programs that'll be being offered in the coming year. Larimer County and Weld County have been the recipients of some of those non-attainment area air pollution mitigation enterprise grant dollars, and so we will see some dollars coming into the community to deal with programs like anti-idling programs, fixing cars that are not meeting emission standards, and that's sort of it definitely is an equity issue around people who can't afford to fix their cars. They might have older cars, and so really helping with that situation. So we will see some, about $1.5 million come into Larimer and Weld counties to deal with some of the, the precursors that lead to our high levels of ground level ozone. And then I was unable to attend the sheriff's luncheon, I'll just say, because I was at the extension luncheon, which was really fun. And for those who don't know extension, it's often a hidden, not hidden group, but it's a group that doesn't get a lot of acknowledgement. But they do a lot of work on food safety. They make the farmers market every year here at the Oak Street. They work on 4-H and outreach to ag and outreach to people who are gardening, and so they do a lot of work, especially in rural parts of the county. And so really it was great to touch base with them and have some fun before the holidays. So that is it for me, and it is 10:34. So we will be adjourning and moving into an executive session with no decision expected. And so I will ask Commissioner Koufalis to make a motion to bring us into executive session.
Thank you. I move the Board of County Commissioners move into executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-4A, -402-4A, purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of any real or personal property interest.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. That motion passes 3-0. So we'll be moving into executive session. So this meeting, we will not be coming back. So we will adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone who participated, and we'll see you next week, Larimer County.